Starling Cycles is a brand that's best known for its beautiful steel handmade frames, and over the past couple of years the brand has been super busy releasing the Mini-Murmur and bringing V3 updates to all of its frames. And they even brought out a concept bike which was kind of downcountry small travel, again steel frame mountain bike. But now that concept is more of a thing. It exists, and this right here is the Mini-Murmur, and we have Joe to have a chat with us about the new bike, and we'll give it a ride bit later on. Right, here we've got Joe. He's the main man behind Starling, and well, tell us about the Mini-Murmur.
So I've ridden short travel bikes quite a lot. I've always built up my own Murmurs as short travel versions. A lot of my customers are doing the same. So taking a Murmur frame, putting 120 suspension on it, putting lightweight wheels and fast rolling tyres, and it turns it into it's not really an XC race bike, but it's an XC an XC bike. It's a fun XC bike to ride. And so this is a standard Murmur frame, but what we've done by changing the suspension we fit to it, and it turns it into a cross-country bike. So this is running a 210 by 50 stroke rear shock, which gives us 120mm rear travel. It's mated with a 120 front fork, and what happens is the shock doesn't change the geometry on the bike, but the fork does. So as you change as you reduce the length of the fork, the bike steepens up. So the head angle steepens up, the bottom bracket drops, the seat angle steepens, and you end up with the right geometry for the intended purpose. So I think it's about a 66 head angle, which is really good for a 120mm bike.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Mini-Murmur. We've given it a different name just to help explain the range to people, so people understand.
Cool.
Available as a frame only, with a few parts, with suspension, with headset, with seat post, or full builds we're doing now.
Brilliant, cool. So this bike, you can turn it into a regular Murmur as well.
Yeah, so it is a regular Murmur frame.
Mm-hmm.
It just, if you wanted to run it with 140 rear, you'd run a 210 by 55 rear shock. And again, you would match. If you're running 140 rear, you'd want to run a 140 or 150 fork, and that longer fork would slacken up the angles.
Cool.
You could even turn it into with a different swing arm. You could turn it into a twist or a mega twist. You know, this can run a 230 by 65 shock as well.
Oh, great.
Different swing arm, you could turn it into a Mini-Murmur. Mm-hmm. So you've reviewed the Mini-Murmur.
Yeah.
So really, the front triangle is the same. We can run different swing arms to get the different bikes. Mm-hmm. This adjustable shock mount allows you to run different length shocks and different stroke shocks.
Cool. And so this bike is available as a full build. So you said around £7,000 off the top of the
Yeah, I can't remember about that.
That's okay. But Joe on Starling are really going for it for the build kit, so it's full of hope. So we've got the XCR brakes, and it's sprung with DT Swiss suspension, and it's really good stuff. On this bike,
it's got New Hope carbon cranks,
and they are beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah, haven't seen them until we got them.
No, and you've got carbon rims on here as well.
Yeah.
Does Cushcore come with the bike, or is it not?
We don't supply with Cushcore. I put it in today because it's a little bit rough up here today, but we'll see. Yeah, we're not. We haven't got the option for Cushcore. Maybe we will. Need to think about that.
No problem. So right, we're going to go off and ride the bike, and we'll give you some impressions as we do that. Right, see you in a bit.
Bye.
Right, so this here is the Starling Mini-Murmur, the little cousin to the regular Murmur, and of course the Mini-Murmur. We've got less suspension travel, less grippy tyres, proper cross-country tyres really, and it is, I've gone record, this is one of the most fun bikes I've ridden this year. As you can see, it's pretty damn quick owing to those real slick tyres, but it's got the geometry to back the speed up, so it's reasonably well planted. But so yeah, it's reasonably well planted, so you can carry decent speed. But because it's got lesser suspension travel, the head angle's a little bit steeper. Joe hasn't given me the geometry figures yet, so I'll put them in right here. So on the descent, where it's a bit cornery like this, the bike's super responsive, and you point it, it does what you want it to do. Ooh. Whoa, that's interesting. God, excuse me. It's been a long day of riding. Suspension's really good, so we've tested the Mini-Murmur, we've got the card, and that was a very linear bike in terms of suspension. This is very different, so got a smaller stroke shock, so it's more progressive, and again, super active. But it's progressive enough to give the shock a bit of a bottomless feeling, so you can really push the bike, and it will just give everything back. Pedal strokes were welcomed with some nice speed. Oh, it's well sorted. The only real trouble is that the tyres are a little bit frightening on the brakes. Just have to keep the wits about you, or buy some different tyres. I will give Joe this. It's built really nice. So a lovely build on it, kit on it from Hope, and he's coloured it beautifully. But it comes in two colours. This one and some sort of blue, I think. Of course, this is covered in Hope silver stuff, which is beautiful. And hopefully that's a full review in one run.
Alright, so I've got a little bit of apologising to do. I must make a confession in that something weird happened with the GoPro when I outroed the video yesterday, but I didn't want to leave you hanging. So first off, apologies for the Fast and Furious review, one run to get a bunch of words out. But we were riding the bike for the whole day, and it kind of proves, or Starling has done a fantastic job with the Mini-Murmur in the way that it rides very much unlike the Mini-Murmur. It's much more taut and responsive, but it takes the whole cross-country ethos, or at least the modern cross-country ethos, and really it's much more relaxed than what we've seen from the likes of Pinarello, Yeti, or Specialized over the past few months. Of course, it is a little bit heavier. It's a steel bike after all, but it still provides that efficiency and the easygoing when climbing that you'll get of a cross-country bike. But of course, it's not full carbon, and you get that lovely kind of, that little bit of compliance that's beautifully hidden within steel tubes. Yeah, it's where that kind of gives you more grip in the climbs. It kind of makes the bike better composed down a hill, so it's not got much suspension, 120 mil, and it feels like a lot more because it's both very progressive, but you do have a little bit of bend in the frame, which is a really good thing. On the descents, it's an absolute monster. I think this is like a seriously versatile bike in the way that it climbs uphill really, really nicely, but you can descend it incredibly quickly and with a lot of confidence, and a lot more confidence than you would expect from like the head angle that it's got. It's fairly steep, relatively, at about 66.5 degrees, I believe. But you know, we were riding steeper terrain than what I would kind of expect a cross-country, down-country bike to be capable of, and it's kind of where it's most fun in a way. So the tyres, comparatively to usual trail tyres, are minimally treaded. The profile isn't that tall, even though it's like quite an aggressive block pattern on these Michelin tyres, and so when you're on the brakes, or they don't really slow down, and they provide little lapses of grip, which just makes for just a generally fun ride. And as I said in the riding bit, you know, I think this is one of the most fun bikes I've ridden at least this year. So that is a first ride review of the Starling Mini-Murmur. We'll have a more in-depth look at the bike over at www.off.road.cc in a written first ride review. But if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.